Well, hello, everyone. This is Natalie McQueen with Become an Author podcast. I'm here with my co host, Jessie Bowen. Jessie, Happy New Year. It's
Happy New
2024.
Happy New Year. I'm excited. It is awesome. I'm ready.
I am too. I am like pumped up. I feel the energy. I feel that this is the year. You've been saying you want to write a book. You've been saying you want to document your legacy. This is the year. Let's do it.
Well, Natalie, some great news I want to start off with that right now it's a toss up between our podcast is being nominated for an award at
Ooh.
the Action Martial Arts Hall of Honors for podcasting or publishing. Is one of those two categories but we're scheduled to receive an award at the end of this month for our show and for the
Nice.
book publishing and stuff we're doing. And what does that really mean? It really means that we're doing a good job. And that's the thing that we really want to do, is to make sure that we're doing a good job. Our clients are happy, and that's what's important.
Absolutely. You know what? It takes a lot, and people don't understand. They think that they can get on, upload a book and call yourself an author, and it doesn't happen that easy. We have a rhythm, we have a way of bringing an author in and growing them through getting them visible, putting their manuscript together in a beautiful way, putting the professional touches as formatting and book covers, and then putting it out to the world with the proper marketing. So let's talk about that today. Once an author, decides they want to become an author, they probably want to say, if I'm going to invest in that, how do I get my money back? How do I, as a published author, make some money?
Well, that's a really good point. And people have to, I would tell all authors, to think about the end result. And I ask three questions. Question number one, it goes into your why. Is this a bucket list?
Right.
Then it doesn't have to be successful. It's personal to you. And if it sells a book, it's okay. If it doesn't, then it's okay. That second thing that I asked the question is, what is it you want it to do for you? Because you may be a speaker, or, I'm in the martial arts industry, then you may want that book to be, a training book or something that your students or parents can get involved in, and everybody has to have it. And of course, number three, which we know is the toughest one, is how do I get a lot of people to read my book? Mm-hmm. And someone had commented on a post I made this past week. I said, write a book and become famous. And someone had said, well, a book doesn't make you famous. Mm-hmm. Well, it doesn't if nobody reads it. And if it doesn't solve a problem, and you're correct, and that is correct. But if you write a book that will solve problems for a lot of people, or you can influence someone that makes your book as one of those must-read books, then guess what? You can become famous. And when we think about having a book, we think about being able to market and sell books, not to just publish a book. That is the easy part. And so many people quit after they publish their book. They just quit. Like, okay, I've done it. It's over. Yeah. And their book is starving and dying out there because they're not paying enough attention to it.
Right. And I want to jump in on that, because you may, what is famous really, right? Famous could be making an impact on a room full of people. And so when I first launched my book, I wasn't famous. I was in the background helping authors publish. Did I know a group of people that knew what I did? Sure. But when I published my book, I got a couple emails from strangers that saw somewhere on social media and wrote to me that I made a difference in their lives. For me, that's amazing. And I'll say that whether you call it famous or not famous, I made an impact. And I think that's such a big goal, to think about, what does fame mean to you? Does fame mean, standing on stages, which is actually a great way to get your book message out there? Or does it mean putting some posts out and people see it and buy your book, and something in your book, your message changes their belief, they learn something from you, So I would say, don't put uh, restrictions on yourself. Write your book, let professionals help you, and then go make an impact on the world, however that level is for you.
Right. And then that's where we come in, is that, you don't have to, I don't have to say I'm famous.
Right.
People that are around me that want to read my books, and a lot of people do it, that my name is well known.
Right.
So your name is well known because you have produced something that a lot of people want to use it. So let's talk a little bit about money. And I know in a lot of circles, nobody wants to talk about money and value, but nothing gets done unless someone purchases a service or, or something on that level to make something else happen. So money makes the world go around. So when you are looking at becoming an author, you really need to take that in consideration, or you will lose your investment. You're going to invest anywhere from $2,000 to $20,000 to be able to write a book. So if I invest $20,000 in a book, I sure don't want to lose my money. So I really need to take a look at, in the beginning, the power of your book. I know when I first started publishing, it wasn't about selling books, because my books helped to promote me as a seminar promoter of doing seminars. So my books were, primarily to sell at the back of the room, because, people were paying $500 to come to my seminar for a weekend.
Right.
And we were at that particular time, it wasn't easy to publish a book. So, thousands of dollars, then you had to buy all these books and have them stored someplace.
A garage full of books.
Yeah. So that really wasn't my purpose, but it was to influence people to come to my program. So that's one way of looking at your book, is how can your book influence something? If you do seminars or if you do public speaking, how can your book influence someone else to pay you a premium for your service? Last year, I was in New York City and I was a closing speaker for American Express. I sent them out a book, and they said, well, okay. They looked at it and go, hey, how would you like to come in and speak for us again? I'd spoken for them before. And so because I sent them the book, I became back on their radar. Nice. And so, they paid all my expenses, paid me a nice salary to a check for a speaking fee to come to be able to do that. So that's one of the things you can think about is, my book, I want to write a book on a certain thing. Who else wants to know about it? Send them a copy of the book. You may come in and become a paid speaker. That's, $4,000 or $5,000 just for an hour. And your book was the influencing key. So that's one way you can create revenue, is by using your book to, know your genre, who you're writing to, but send them a free copy. Give them use that book as your giant business card to influence people.
Absolutely. We've said this over and over, but only about 2% of people actually become authors. Now, when you're in the entrepreneurial world, it does seem like, everybody has a book, but that's not true in the big grand scheme of things. And I want to go back to what you said, $2,000 to $20,000. Let's take kind of the midpoint of $12,000. Do you know, if you did nothing but call, email, knock on doors, to get your investment back, 600 books is all you have to sell. and you break even. So now people may go 600 books, but you know what? That's with zero help knocking on doors or however you want to sell your books. We have programs, we have ways to make you shine in social media, in magazines, in get on podcast. We interview our authors and let them, hold up their books and showcase, and we put that out on all our platforms. Go and look up, if your book's about, say, weight loss, go and look up every podcast out there about weight loss, listen to a few of them, listen if it's a right fit, and then reach out and see if you can be a guest on that podcast. There's so many ways you can do it inexpensive, but as an author, you really must think about the book is the book, get it done professionally, but then you must have a marketing either program or budget to make your book continually sell. And of course, there's a tipping point where, you drive that book, write another book. You know what? There's nothing better on the algorithm of Amazon to launch another book. They pull you up and you're showcased, and your Amazon author page shows all your books together. So use that, take advantage of that.
And then we have, if you write a book, write the ebook.
Right.
Because now your Kindle is a great place that you can, now we utilize that to sort of start the bestseller campaign, Kindle and kindling. I think about building a fire. That,
right.
You do something to be able to get it going. So, driving people to your website, creating that interest in doing that. So you got your ebooks you can sell. And I love ebooks. In fact, when my books come out, I buy a bunch of Kindles and then I gift them to people because Amazon will let you do that. So you can buy Kindle copies and you can gift them to your birthday people. So I gift them to birthdays and say, hey, here's a free copy of my Kindle, the Kindle version of my book. And majority of times they will go there instead of just collecting the Kindle, they will order the book. Nice. So, I generally have 50, 60 people that have birthdays, each week. So now you start gifting those out and you use that as a part of your marketing. You can use like my page and get a Kindle, so generally, and when we're looking at the Kindle, they can range from 99 cents to $2.99. So 99 cents is a really good deal for you to invest back into it. And then you also have,
you had about 50 to 60 people a month that you do this to.
Well,
so if you get it at the 99 cents, that's a whopping $60 and you're touching 60 lives right there.
And it's used to be able to, in your building, especially in social media, it's about building relationships. So this is a great way for you to be able to build a relationship. And then you have things like flipping page. And the flipping page is where you can have your book and people can thumb through it. They can actually turn the pages.
Digitally, correct?
Yes, the digital books, digital flipping page. And they can actually turn the page and they can get it, send it to their cell phones. They can review some pages, then buy it. Very similar to your download that you can, your PDF download, because you can use that to download that. So, you have your Kindle, you've got your flipping page, and you have your downloads. And I love downloads, especially the PDF downloads, because you're selling the same thing over and over again. So there's no other investment to be able to be done. It's the same thing with the digital flipping pages. You're selling the same product over and over again. So that's a very cost efficient way for you to create revenue.
So you may end up, if you're not technologically challenged, or if you are technologically challenged, you can hire someone like us to do that for you, set it up. And so you may pay on the front, but like Jessie said, then you don't have to pay over and over per month. It's a done for you deal. So often when we're talking to authors, and if they're in coaching or promoting their business in their books, there's some kind of a follow me, a free gift, something that leads them to see what else you have. And often that can be an online course that you can sell. So that's something that you can get and put your content for your course. And then within the book, even have a QR code talking, saying, thank you so much for reading my book. I'm super excited for you to come forward and check out the course that goes right along with this book. And so they can decide to do that or not. And you're offering them, if they've liked you as an author, they want to go forward. They want to know more about you and how they can learn more. And so your course is a perfect first step.
And we have courses, we'll drop it in the link here, that you can take our writing course. So we have a 30-day writing course in which you can write, you can publish and market your book in 30 days by actually following the course that we have. So, you can build, in fact, one of the things we're going to do with this podcast, this is actually going to be a part of our Audible book. So right. You can now turn your book into an Audible book, and you can now, you can sell it as an Audible book, and then, or you can sell it again, turned into MP3s or the WAV files, and you can sell it as your own personal download. So that's another revenue place, is now take your book and now make it an audio book. And that makes an easy way for people to be able to do that. And if you're going through Audible, then you really have to have a live person to actually do the recording work and bring everything together for you. If right. You're using some of the other platforms or personal downloads, there are several audio programs that you can use that will turn your text into speech. And a lot of them are very, very good. I mean, really good quality. Again, Audible would not accept it, but right. It would be acceptable for getting your book out.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. The other thing too is, think about this. When you write a book, and I'll give you an example about my book, Gifts of Legacy, the ultimate blueprint for generations to enjoy. So there's my story, then it goes into how to leave your legacy. Well, what if I used my book and collaborated with people that would benefit their people? So maybe someone at a funeral home would like to either share my book or share my course with the person that just lost someone, so they can get all their memories together and keep it in a certain way. So it could be a partnership that I could go into using my book and course to have eyes that would never find my book otherwise. And you could do a joint venture where every time they refer you, you can credit them, a thank you credit, a referral fee. So that's a great way to use your book. Find people that it's a perfect fit.
Well, that's right. Affiliate marketing, and we're in affiliate marketing. And, this is not a tool that we use, because that's what you need. You need a team. If you're going out there and knocking on all the doors yourself, that's a long journey. But now I have 50 or 60 other people that are, taking pictures with my book, talking about my book. And, as an affiliate partner, you receive an affiliate link. And that link, whenever you put it out there and someone clicks on it, it records to your own personal back office. And there it will show if the person went to your website and made a purchase. And if they did, you can get anywhere from 10 to 20% of the sales of that product. And so when you now you make a post, you put that link in there, and I've got 50 people that like the post, because likes doesn't equal buys. So,
Right.
I got 50 people that like the post, but now I had 10 or 20 people that went and actually made a purchase. Mm-hmm. So that's the things that you really have to do, is keeping that book out there that people see it. They don't buy the very first time they see it. You got to keep your book out there that people can see it over and over and over again, And, eventually when it's out there long enough, it hits them, and then they automatically create a need for your book.
Right. Another idea is get into a collaboration book. Even if you're like writing your book or just launched your book, you're exposed to a group of people that you wouldn't join a collaborative book that wasn't serving in a topic that you love. So all these people have like-minded as you. So they will probably love your book. So they could be a purchaser, or they could be a joint venture partner that could push your book out. Or it could be that you just get another notch on your Amazon author page and it showcases another book. So people will be like, oh my gosh, that Jessie Bowen just launched another book, and then he was in this book. So it gets attention and people go and check it out.
And that's really key, is to once you start, it's easy to get into the flow, especially once you understand the process. So,
right.
Writing is a process. I think of what I do is more of telling a story and writing. Mm-hmm. So most people think, I want to write my book and tell my story. I think of it more as telling my story, because just in that writing process, I generally use my cell phone, and I take all my notes, dictate my notes, and send myself an email. So as I'm bringing all of this together of telling my story and then writing my book, and then finding those people that will partner with me to be able to share my story. So that is a really big key. You got to start someplace. Now I've got over 30 books. So, and then I've got 2 books coming out at the end of the month, and I got 3 more books that I'm writing. Right. Now, these are my books that I'm doing. And so I'm doing these books because I have an inner message, and that's how I get my message out for me. Right. Because my message of what I'm dealing with may be the same thing, Natalie, that you may be dealing with. Yep. One of the first Christian books I wrote was called God Gives Me Vision. And I had people tell me, well, Jessie, you have such great vision. You're really out in front. And I had a dream about it, and then the dream, it says, God gives you vision. So I wrote the book. And then, like I said, I dealt with some family issues about forgiving. Yeah. And then what came to me was, okay, Jessie, forgive people, just forgive, move on. This is learned behavior that, your family did it. You're trying to hold on to something great. And so, we wrote the book, God forgives, why not you? But it was really about things I was going through and having to think myself out of this box.
Right.
So, and then researching, and that's what you really want to be able to do. If you enjoy researching, you'll enjoy being a published author. And when we look at that, we just skipped past it a few moments ago, but just think about if you could find a topic that would bring additional $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 of revenue in. Mm-hmm. I mean, just because you decided to think about something, write on it, research it, put it in a book, it's solved your problem, then it solves someone else's problem. So that's another, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 of revenue you can bring in if you will market your book. But if you publish a book and you leave it up on Amazon, it's down in 7,200, whatever, it's not going to sell down there. So you want to be able to launch your book that is at the top in the beginning. but you want to think about how much revenue, what would you do with, maybe you did your vision board and you want to have another $20,000 of revenue, and you're going, wow, where can I get $20,000 of revenue? And you go, well, let me talk about my experience as a martial artist, and maybe I'm saying, maybe I'm writing it to parents. Every parent should put their child in martial arts, and I give the reasons why from my experience. So that could be a book that resonates with parents and be a great book to partner with martial arts schools, because
Right.
I'm giving everyone the reasons why to be able to do that. So think about how much revenue you would like to have as a published author, in that one book. And like, say you may have 3 or 4 books. Think about it. You got 3 or 4 books that's coming out, and all these books, and we're talking self-published authors.
Right.
Of that's, that's not a company. You're talking about self-published authors. And then maybe you write a book that's really good, and you have a traditional publish house come to you, go, I want to give you $80,000 or $100,000 for the rights to your, self-published book. So there's so many ways that you can financially gain by actually being a published author.
Yeah. And on that, they're not going, if you're the one that has it up and no one knows who you are, they're not coming for you. So invest in your books, invest in getting the word out that you are a published author. And what would you say, Jessie, that I know we need to wrap it up, but if someone was kind of shy and not knowing how to put themselves out, what would be the best way for that author to get started?
Well, the best way is to, go to a professional. Don't go to your friend that hasn't published. Come to a professional, like we are, Natalie, here at Elite Publications, and then we will sit down with you, hear your story. You don't have to have it written. You don't have to send me anything. Hear about your idea for your story, because we've published all these people we've helped become international best-selling authors. We already know if it's going to work or not.
Right.
And so to sit down, let's talk about your story. Let's determine what it is you want your story to do, and for us to give you a proposal on how to help you to be able to accomplish that goal. That's where you want to start. Don't go to your friends and the naysayers. You really need to come to a pro. If you want to publish a book, you need to come to a publisher. Yes, you can self-publish on your own, and a lot of authors, they do a great job. That's where I started, of doing it on my own. But I was fortunate enough to come in contact with greater people than myself, and they really helped me to be able to not just write a book, but to be able to sell the book before I actually write the first word. So that's something you want to look at, because most people think about, well, I'm going to write my book, and then I'm going to publish my book, and then I'm going to start marketing my book. No. It's all, no, start marketing your book from day one. So when someone asks you the question, hey, I hear you have a book coming out, how do I get a copy? And I say, well, it's going to come out next December. Okay, let me know. No, I'm going to say, just go to my website, order a copy, and when it comes out, I'm going to sign it and send it to you. Okay, let me go do that. So those are the small things that we really want to think about when we're looking at publishing a book, especially if we're trying to create revenue from that book.
Absolutely. And you know what? Take time to sit, get quiet, pull up a journal, and do some journaling. So you really can get clear on the message you want to share with the world. Because when you do, you'll find that you have so much more to share than you actually thought. And the superpowers that you don't know you have that can help others. So let us help you find your superpowers, find your key target market, and get your beautiful book out to the world.
Well, that's exactly right, Natalie, is to do it. And just, I don't have my Nike shirt on. That little just do it.
Just
And
do
that's
it.
what,
That's
yeah,
right.
that's what this year needs to be about, is to, one of the themes we're using for this year is to cast your net for prosperity.
Yep.
Casting your net for prosperity. And when you have prosperity, and we're looking at wealth, those are things that help you. Create a vision board. See yourself as an author. Believe in yourself. The more you think about something, the more you draw that to you. And that's just called law of attraction. And it works in all things. The more you think about it, and the more it's drawn to you, that you can now take actions on it. So if you've been thinking about writing, hey, stop thinking about it. Just go for it. Just go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Happy New Year, everyone, and come and talk to us.